Look at the person in the mirror. Really look at them. You see the skin, the eyes, maybe a few new lines that weren't there last year. You see a history of scars, a specific haircut, a reflection that you have identified as me for your entire conscious existence. But here is the radical, terrifying, and ultimately liberating truth that Krishna drops on us before we even get started. That person in the mirror, that is not you. It's a costume. It is a biological vehicle that you are currently driving, but it is not the driver. Most of us walk through life with this low-level hum of anxiety, a feeling of being lost in the noise, chasing temporary highs that evaporate the moment we touch them. We feel disconnected. But what if the manual for operating this human machine was written thousands of years ago? We are going to deconstruct the wisdom of Krishna, not as some dusty religious text, but as a psychological handbook for survival in the modern world. We are going to look at the early wisdom that challenges everything we think we know about who we are. It starts with this concept of the Atman, the eternal soul. Krishna uses a metaphor that is so simple, it's almost disarming. He compares your body to a set of clothes. Think about that for a second. When your favorite shirt gets old, when the fabric wears thin and the buttons fall off, you don't have an existential crisis. You don't weep for the shirt. You simply take it off and put on a new one. Krishna says that death, the thing we fear most, is literally just changing your shirt. The soul discards the worn-out body and accepts a new one. When you actually sit with this, when you let it sink into your marrow, the paralyzing fear of mortality starts to lose its grip. You realize that you are the observer, not the reflection. So, if you are an eternal observer, how do you handle the chaos of right now? The bad days, the heartbreak, the financial stress. Krishna teaches us to look at our emotions like meteorology. Life is a climate system. You have high pressure and low pressure. You have sunshine and you have hurricanes. But the key insight here is that no storm hovers over the same spot forever. When you are in the middle of grief, it feels solid. It feels like concrete. But Krishna reminds us it is just a passing cloud. It might block the sun for an hour, a day, or a year, but it cannot destroy the sky. The sky remains, you remain. By understanding that pain and pleasure are just sensory inputs that come and go, you build a resilience that is practically bulletproof. You stop trying to control the weather and start learning how to sail through it. And this leads us to the most practical tool in the kit, Karma Yoga. This is where most people get it wrong. We think spiritual life means sitting in a cave and chanting. Krishna says, no, get up and work. But there is a catch. The secret isn't what you do, it is how you do it. Imagine you are washing the dishes. Usually, you are rushing to get to the end, hating the grease, thinking about what you'd rather be doing. That is bondage. Karma Yoga flips the script. You wash the dish with total attention, not because you want a clean plate, and not because you want someone to thank you, but because the action itself is an offering. You detach from the result. You stop obsessing over the promotion, the likes on social media, or the praise. You focus entirely on the craft, on the duty, on the immediate moment. When you sever the chain between your work and your ego's need for validation, even the most mundane Tuesday afternoon chore becomes a profound form of meditation. You become free in the middle of the grind. This brings us to the art of detachment. Now, in the West, we hear detachment and we think cold or unfeeling. That is a mistranslation. True detachment isn't about not loving the world, it's about not suffocating it. Think about eating your absolute favorite meal. The moment you are eating it, if you are terrified of it ending, If you are grasping at the taste, you aren't actually enjoying it. You are anxious. Detachment allows you to savor the texture, the flavor, and the joy of the moment. And then, and this is the hard part, letting it go when it's done without misery. It creates a buffer zone between your happiness and your external circumstances. You stop being a slave to your cravings. And why does all this matter? Because this life isn't a one-and-done scenario. Krishna introduces the concept of reincarnation not as a spooky ghost story, but as a curriculum. Imagine your soul is in a university that spans eons. Every relationship you have, every hardship you face, every choice you make is a lesson in a semester that lasts a lifetime. If you fail the test of patience in this life, you'll get to retake the class in the next one. This perspective changes everything. It means nothing is wasted. It empowers you to take responsibility for your evolution because you realize you are playing the long game, the infinite game. But walking this path can feel lonely. The chaos of the world is loud. Here is where the early wisdom offers a safety net. You are never actually alone. Krishna speaks of a surrender to the divine that isn't about weakness. It's about connection. It is about cultivating a personal, intimate relationship with the source of the universe, seeing that source as a friend. When you start to recognize that divine spark in the eyes of a stranger or in the stillness of a tree, you tap into a reservoir of strength that doesn't run dry. You are being held. This changes how we love other people, too. It is a tough pill to swallow, but our earthly relationships are temporary. The dynamic you have with your partner, your parents, your children, it shifts. If you cling to them with desperation, you suffocate the love. But if you view your relationships through the lens of the soul, you can love them more fully. You love them for who they are eternally, not just for the role they play in your life right now. You stop needing to fix them or possess them. You just witness them. Ultimately, the way out of suffering is knowledge. Not trivia, not data, but deep, spiritual knowing. You need a compass, whether it is the Bhagavad Gita or sitting in silence with honest questions. You have to cut through the ignorance that tells you you are just a body or you are your bank account. So, here is the challenge. Don't just consume this information and scroll to the next video. Pick one thing. Maybe it's the observer mindset next time you look in the mirror. Maybe it's washing the dishes like it's the most important task in the universe. Test it. Treat your life like a laboratory. Because the journey of self-discovery isn't just philosophy. It is the only journey that actually leads you home.